Congressman Brad Wenstrup. He's a member of the House Intelligence and House Ways and Means Committees. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
You bet, Maria. Thank you.
So much to talk about with you, from COVID censorship to what's happening, and when you all come back in September with the potential of a continuing resolution or a government shutdown. But let's first start with all of these indictments against Trump. How do you see things?
Well, first of all, I'm not a lawyer, but this is very disturbing, and I think it should be to the average citizen in the United States, to see that we are seemingly deviating away from truth and justice in America. You know, all these indictments coming forward, the accusation of racketeering, they all appear political, and they appear to be tremendous political overreach. Maria, today, I think throughout America, what we're seeing is a tremendous stain on the traditional virtues of America and on our traditional virtues of our justice system. I think what we're seeing today is authority for the sake of politics and personal gain, taking actions, bringing forth indictments that I don't think otherwise we would normally see. And we probably wouldn't see if it wasn't a presidential candidate from the party with which you're not affiliated. And I've been recently in the last week been in Wyoming, in Utah, in Minnesota, in Ohio, and all the headlines are about Trump's indictments, which is certainly seemingly what Democrats would want to see. But what we're not seeing are the things that we in Congress are working on, such as the potential crimes of Hunter Biden with his taxes. I'm on Ways and Means, and the whistleblowers came to us from the IRS. We're not talking about the IRS in action the way we should, or DOJ in action, or the plea deal that the DOJ was offering Hunter Biden, for example, that fortunately the judge struck down with all this information we now have about Hunter Biden and the actions taken. Yeah. And how about the millions of dollars that are going to the Bidens? The Bidens have turned the United States of America into their own personal yard sale. There are so many things we're looking at. I sit on Intelligence Committee, yeah, and we still want to get to the root of all the types of things that took place within the FISA court. Who did that? And why did the FBI call the shooting at the baseball field, which was a clear insurrection, why did they call that suicide by cop?
Well, it's all quite disturbing right here. And as we watch censorship underway from the government in a number of agencies working with social media to try to suppress truth and amplify lies, all at the same time of this two systems of justice, as you mentioned, what can you do about it as an elected official?
Well, as an elected official in Congress, we can do a lot of the things that we are doing, and that is trying to subpoena evidence that goes in the face of what the narrative has been. And
so is it going to be harder for you? Do you think it's going to be harder for you to get information now that you have this special counsel with regard to the Hunter Biden investigation? Because the House Oversight Committee, the Ways and Means, as well as Judiciary, have been working together to try to get as much information as possible out to the public so that we can understand what has taken place here in terms of all of the money taken in from the Biden family. Will that slow down as a result of David Weiss being the special counsel in the Hunter Biden investigation?
Yeah, well, first of all, from what I understand, he's not a special counsel because he doesn't fit the description of a special counsel. Mr. Weiss is actually part of the congressional investigation. What I see time and time again is the agencies try to say, hey, you can't do anything right now because we're having an investigation. Well, guess what? We are Congress and we're having an investigation. You know what I've seen in the Intel Committee, Maria, where we have had trouble getting information, and we've been able to do this in a bipartisan fashion, and that's to start to fence the funding of those agencies until we get the information that we want. Maybe we have to take those steps as well.
Yeah, and I know that you're about to get into those appropriations bills, the 11 left that are not finished when you get back in September. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But, Congressman, you are sending a letter to the FBI and the Department of Health. You want answers on an alleged Chinese-owned COVID lab that was operating in Fresno, California. This lab reportedly genetically engineering on mice and experimenting with HIV, herpes, and malaria. What have you learned? What can you tell us?
Well, we hope to learn more. We have now sent a letter that's to the CDC, the FDA, and the FBI. We want all their documents and communications of what they know about this lab that has taken place. Prestige Biotech supposedly is Chinese-owned, and when it comes to the genetically modified mice, they are modified to be what we call humanized, and therefore they will react as a human being would react when exposed to certain viruses, similar to what was going on in Wuhan with the coronavirus research there. And we're hearing about 20 or so infectious diseases, while a supposed spokesperson for the lab said they don't have any infectious diseases, bacteria or viruses in the lab. But we're hearing COVID-19, HIV, malaria, E. coli, chlamydia. So at the select subcommittee level on the pandemic and with Intelligence Committee, my concerns are, how do we keep America safe? This is a clear biological threat, locally, nationally, and internationally. So we want those documents. We want to dig into what's going on because it's a matter of national security and national health security.
Well, I mean, was there any recourse whatsoever for Communist China for allowing a virus to get unleashed out of a Wuhan lab and infect the world? I mean, we talk every day about this soft approach that Joe Biden has on China, a spy balloon, police stations, massive cyber activity, and not to mention a lab leak that was covered up.
Yeah, and you have seen, Maria, what we've revealed through the subcommittee on the pandemic is the internal documents from the people that are saying this came from nature, nothing to see in China necessarily, yet internally they're saying, oh, it very likely could have come from the lab. Even Dr. Fauci said, we know they're doing this type of research in Wuhan. But you have an organization like the World Health Organization that is not strong, and that's a problem. They should exist for all of humankind, and they should be part of the narrative to say, you have a problem in China, and we have great evidence that says that this came from the lab, and you need to atone for that and admit to it and come forward with all the data that they seem to eliminate.
All right, we will leave it there. But real quick before you go, Congressman, on House Ways and Means, are you expecting a continuing resolution when you get back? What's going to happen with these 11 appropriation bills that need to get finished?
Well, sometimes when we don't get where we want to go, that ends up happening. I know Speaker McCarthy has talked about the possibility of a short-term CR, but hopefully we can get these done because we've been working awfully hard on trying to get it done.
All right, we'll be watching all of that. Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, Brad Wenstrup, we'll be right back.